10 African nations have just done the unthinkable. They have banned exports of their own raw materials, locking down critical resources worth billions of dollars the world depends on. Western factories are panicking, global supply chains are shaking, and yet this might be the smartest economic move of the decade. In 2022, Zimbabwe banned lithium exports, triggering over 1 billion in Chinese investment to build local processing plants. Tanzania too has tightened the rules, mandating its graphite and other minerals be processed locally. The result? A wave of new investment in the refineries, battery grade facilities, as the country fights to claim its share of the global clean energy boom. From Zimbabwe to Tanzania, Africa is changing rules. They are no longer content to just export raw minerals. These nations want a bigger slice of the value chain, and this time they are demanding on their own terms. The other African nations that have taken steps toward restricting or banning exports are on your screen now. You can pause the video to go through them. Africa has learned what China mastered years ago: control the resources and you control the system. And this is only the beginning. Because when it comes to controlling critical materials, there's one nation that wrote the playbook long before Africa even started reading it. China controls 70% of the earth mining, 90% of refining, and also global magnet production. The invisible components behind everything from EVs to missiles. When Beijing cut exports to Japan in 2010, global tech supply chains froze overnight. Every phone, every fighter jet paused. And now history is repeating. This time with Washington on the offense. The Trump administration has just slapped a 100% tariff on Chinese goods in retaliation for Beijing's fresh restrictions on earth materials, which are rare ones. It's no longer a trade dispute, it's a resource war in a slow motion. Even America's only rare earth mine ships its ore to China for processing. That's how deep the dependency runs. But as China built its monopoly on materials, another player quietly started positioning itself for the next frontier: manufacturing dominance. India is becoming world's favorite China plus one bet. Apple is moving $40 billion of iPhone production here, and Samsung is also injecting fresh investment of $117 million. The government's PLI scheme is driving this shift, resulting in six-fold surge in India's output production. What used to be called as the call center is now cheap plants, phone lines, and solar panels. And there's a reason for the corporate giants are betting on India. The supply chain is changing, not just across borders, across industries too. Because in the same way India leveraged technology, one Southeast Asian country is using minerals to climb up the ladder, and much faster. Indonesia holds nearly half of the world's nickel, a key ingredient for EV batteries. In 2020, Jakarta banned raw nickel exports, and the world battery giants had no choice but to come to them. And as the result, Chinese EV battery giant CATL is investing over $5.9 billion in local plants. Tesla and LG are also considering investments. If these plans materialize, 200,000 new jobs will be created and exports can be multiplied tenfold. It's the same playbook Africa is using, but this time with scale and precision. Indonesia's nickel ban inspired new regional pacts, linking Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines into a supply chain that cuts the West out entirely. But while Indonesia built batteries, another neighbor has quietly become the assembly floor of the world. Half of the Samsung's smartphones now come from Vietnam, and 65% of airports by the end of 2025. Labor costs roughly 40 to 50% lower than China. Vietnam signed deals with both US and China, giving it an unmatched access to both the markets. It's the only few nations exporting freely both to Beijing and to Washington. And that makes Vietnam more than just a low cost hub. It's a strategic bridge between two rival economies. Now, from Africa's mines to Vietnam's ports, a clear pattern is emerging, and it points to a massive shift in who drives the globalization next. And here's the bigger picture. Every emerging economy is following a three-step playbook. Step 1, control the critical resources. Step 2, force investment by restricting exports. Step 3, build the entire value chain from minerals to finished products. It's the same story everywhere. Africa's minerals, China's refining, India's factories, Indonesia's nickel, Vietnam's trade networks. Together, they are reshaping global power. That's not just a narrative, it's a measurable. The data shows exactly how far the balance has shifted. Back in 1990, the US and Europe made half of everything the world produced. Today, barely a third. The factory floor of the world has moved, and so has the power that comes with it. But this story doesn't end here, because shifting trade is one thing, holding power is another. And now, these rising economies face the real test: debt, politics, and climate pressure. In part 2, we will dive into the global debt trap, resource wars, and new alliances forming across the global south. If you want to stay ahead of these shifts, subscribe, because what's coming next might redefine the 21st century. And if you have liked this video, please give a thumbs up and do comment that what you feel about the changes that are happening in and around you. Thanks for watching.